All right, we're live. So
Okay.
I'm here with Vicki with the Miracle League of Mid Michigan. Correct.
Yes.
All right, cool. Why don't we start out with a little bit of background on the organization?
So the field was actually built first before Miracle League of Mid-Michigan came into existence. Case Credit Union had a nonprofit called Case Cares that raised the funds to build the field. Now, I was a part of that nonprofit, and basically Case Cares only put forth probably 75 or $80,000 towards the total. One of the members of the board was actually worked for DeWitt Township, and he was able to get a DNR trust fund grant that funded the rest of um, the field surface itself, and also a concession stand that has and handicapped accessible bathrooms with fold down um, plinths that are adult size for adult size kids that need to be changed.
And this is a baseball field, so
Yes. There are other fields in that complex that the Little Leaguers play on, but our field is the only field that is a rubberized turf surface. All the other fields are regular grass and dirt with bases. We have bases, but our bases are um, like every color of a baseball field is changed in the turf surface. So where there's the outline of the field is white, that's just a different color of the surface. And then the backstop is brown to look like dirt. The home plate is white. The pitcher's mound is brown to look like dirt, but it's all integrated together.
it's all
So,
flat surface.
right, exactly.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the league and how it came to be and what you guys do there.
Okay, the Miracle League of Mid-Michigan started in 2012. That was our first season. We started with 66 players and five teams. Last season we had the most players that we've ever had, which is 124, and we had 10 teams. We've had a season every year with the exception of 2020. Um, and basically our athletes, so what we do is we provide the opportunity for youth and adults to play baseball on an accessible ball field. And we do that by virtue of our buddy system. So we recruit buddy volunteers from the community. The youngest age that we accept is 12, and the oldest is however old you want to still participate. So we have some people in their 70s that participate, and then we break the rules for the minimum age if a athlete's sibling is younger than 12 and wants to buddy. So, for example, one of our athletes who's been playing since 2012, when his sister got to be 9, she wanted to be his buddy. And so his mom asked us, and we said sure. And so, as long as the parent is there, because it's not a babysitting, we don't babysit anybody. The parents are there with their athletes, and we do have some athletes that come from origami.
Okay.
And so the rec therapist comes with them. And so if there are any like needs such as like toileting needs or emergency needs or anything like that, there's always a family member or um, somebody like the rec therapist for origami that's available to provide those. our buddies, their responsibility is to be present in the presence of their buddy and help them play the game of baseball. So basically, they help them at bat if they need help, or they stand by. So like for example, if we have a player, an athlete that uses a wheelchair, and they hit off of a tee, well, if they're a right-handed batter, the tee is right in the way of them being able to get to first base. So the buddy moves the tee so that the player can get to first base. We have other buddies that are other players that like bat. Some of them bat, they use crutches to get where they're going. Some of them use one crutch to balance and one crutch as a bat. Some of them want to use a bat, so the buddy will hold their crutch, and then when they're done batting, the buddy will change out the bat for the crutch so the player can get to first base. And then our buddies will stay with the players all the way through to home plate, and then accompany them in the dugout, and then out on the field. So if they're I mean they play all positions. Basically, a lot of balls don't get hit to the outfield, and so the people in the outfield are bored, so they usually will grab a couple of balls and play catch. And sometimes you'll get like three buddies and three athletes all playing a game of catch out in the outfield while the game's going on. And then we also have a system called Buddy Protect, because we do have some athletes that can hit the ball. And so when we yell out Buddy Protect, the buddies stand in front of their athletes so that they take the hit of the ball, and their player doesn't get hit by the ball.
Are they using a solid baseball or are they using one of
We
the
use
rubberized balls?
like a T-ball ball that's
Uh-huh. A little bit
solid,
softer.
but it has a little softer give. And so we have T-ball baseballs, and we also have like similar size softballs. A lot of times we use the softballs because they're a larger target for some of our for larger target, plus they're yellow, bright
Yep.
yellow, so they're easier for our lower vision athletes to be able to see. So it just depends. Like we have one athlete who's been playing since he was 6. He's now in high school. He can hit a home run almost every time, and he wants the regular baseball. He wants overhand pitch, and he wants you to stand in the pitcher's on the pitcher's mound to do it. So, and it's coach pitch. So, or sometimes the coaches that don't want to pitch there, they'll find a buddy that'll pitch. But yeah, it's coach pitch, and everybody scores, everybody runs every base, everybody scores a run, and every batter bats every inning. So basically, the game lasts about an hour, and we only play 2 innings. But that's enough for them and for their families. Their families, the reason why we established the buddy system is so that the family members can sit in the stands and cheer on their athlete just like any other kid who's playing baseball. Their family members, if they want to coach, like we have a couple of coaches that are dads that want to be coaches. We have a couple of dads and moms that want to be buddies. Some of them sign up to be buddies, but they don't want to buddy their own child, so they'll buddy somebody else's. But they just want to be involved. They want to be in the dugout with their kids. Um, but the majority of them sit in the stands and cheer everybody on. And that's the difference between Miracle League baseball and regular baseball, is that there's no foe. Like everybody cheers for everybody. So, and we also have an announcer that announces the kids when they come up to bat. At the beginning of the season, they fill out a form asking them a couple of questions besides their name, and then each time they come up to the bat, the buddy or the announcer will announce their name and then one of their fun facts about them, and then they get cheered on, and some of them stand and do this before they get up to bat, so it's really I mean, I back in 19, I'm a pediatric physical therapist, retired, and in 1990, I started a team of kids with disabilities that played able-bodied 5 and 6-year-old T-ball teams through Lansing Parks and Rec. And I basically did exactly what the Miracle League of Mid-Michigan is doing. What the National Miracle League was doing is I would find people that would help out my athletes. I did it from 1990 to 2000. A lot of the people who were helping me out either left or just had families and couldn't devote the time. So I put it on hold for a little bit, and then I got people asking me in '05 to start it back up again. So I started it back up again in '05. And in 2008 is when I found out about the Miracle League. And and that's also when Case Cares kind of came into play as far as fundraising for the field. So I joined their board and then became um, the vice president of the Miracle League of Mid-Michigan board and the league director. So I've been doing it since 2012.
How long does the league run? I'm assuming it's in the
Our
summer.
it's a summer league. We start, the first games are the first Monday in June, and we run through the second or third week of July, depending on how many teams we have. We try to guarantee each team at least 7 games. When we started out, we only played on Mondays and Wednesdays. But since we added 10 teams, we play on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Our games are at 6 and at 7:15, and every team plays 1 game a week. Um, and there are at least so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So there's 2 teams um that play 2 games in a week, but no team plays 2 games every week. So you see what I mean? It's 1 game a week most of the time, but I think there's 2 weeks in the season that they play 2 games in the week.
Okay. And then let's talk about the buddies because I know you're always looking for volunteers.
Right.
So what does that look like and how do people sign up and get involved?
Okay, so we have, first of all, I haven't made the buddy flyer yet for this year, but that's in the works. Um, so buddy registration will probably begin sometime the middle to end of February. Um, Basically, we have a Facebook page, Miracle League of Mid-Michigan, Facebook page. We also have a website. It's, I need to look that up, because it used to be something else and now it's changed. But they can sign up through there's always a link once registration starts for either buddy or athletes. It is immediately posted on our Facebook page and on our website. So that's basically how they can sign up. And there's a link directly to DARA, the DeWitt Area Recreation Authority. They actually oversee our program now, and so they take the registrations, manage the money aspect of it. But I do the recruit coaches, um, assign teams, make up the schedule, find announcers. And then there's another person on our board who her and I work on assigning the buddy volunteers to the teams. And we have a lot of buddies that return every year, and they want to, like, the nice thing about our program, there, some of the other programs, like we were the one, two, three, fourth Miracle League in Michigan. The first one was the Miracle League of Michigan. Then there was the Miracle League of Bridgeport, I think, and then the Miracle League of Plymouth, and then us. Now there's one in West Michigan. There's one in Flint that's just starting. I can't think of the other ones, but in any case, we were the third one. The majority of the other Miracle Leagues, they run their buddy system where they have people just sign up for the day.
Okay.
And um, and so they don't so their athletes don't consistently get the same buddy. So in with our program, we have the buddies sign up for the whole season, and so they're assigned a team, and then from then they're assigned an athlete, and so they remain that athlete's buddy through the whole season, and as a result, there have been friendships that have um, moved beyond the field out into the community where the buddies maintain contact with the athlete's family and the athlete. So that's kind of the cool aspect of our of what we're doing.
Seems like a better system. Not only from what you just said, but just it's probably easier to manage too if you can have buddies sign up for the whole season rather than constantly looking for volunteers for specific days.
Yeah, and the issue comes where by probably 60% of our athletes have some form of autism.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
you know, kids slash adults with autism, they don't like change.
Yep.
And so their ability to know that they're going to have the same buddy every time, and that buddy knows them and knows like their idiosyncrasies, that makes for a smoother transition into the dugout, out onto the field, up to bat, so that they come to know, the buddies come to know their athletes' needs and meet those needs to make the experience a better experience for the player.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanna share?
Oh, let me think. Oh, we actually we have a partnership with MSU's baseball team with
Okay.
Jake Wash Jr.
Yep.
and it started in 2012 and so we have an opening day that we do usually in May and the athletes um who have signed up are invited to participate in that. And then the entire MSU baseball team comes to our field, and then they become the buddies for our athletes. And it's really a cool experience for the MSU athletes and for our players. And then this past fall, we do opening day in the spring, and then in the fall we have a fall ball, and so we've been doing that with MSU since with the baseball team since 2012, and then this past summer I was approached by the softball team, so we did it with the softball team as well, and it was a really fun experience. A lot of the athletes that did it with the baseball team came back to do it with the softball team, but some of them changed. Like some of them decide there were a lot more girls that came out for the softball team than for the baseball team. So it's really a cool experience for everybody for everybody involved. And as a result of that program, we have received NIL donations
Oh, yeah.
from from one because the NIL money, some of the NIL money that MSU that's managed for MSU requires the athletes to donate 5% of their money to a charitable organization. So 2 years ago, we received money from one of the baseball players, and then last year, the a softball player who just participated for the first time, she donated her NIL money donation to our organization.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, NIL is name and image and likeness, that athletes they can make money as student athletes at, NCAA, I think across the board through all divisions, but, um, it's how players can make money doing they can really do anything, right? I mean, they can do advertisements, they can make money off of social media, they can however that works at that specific institution. So, just for anybody that doesn't know what NIL is. Um, but yeah, that's super cool. That's awesome that Michigan State baseball and softball have
Right.
come on
Yeah, it's
board
a
there.
great partnership. And Jake Boss has been on board again, like I said, since 2012, and he looks forward to it every year. And the other thing that you need to know is that our field was built in April of 2012. It was guaranteed to be usable for 7 to 10 years. So we are on year 14 of use. And s- we have had some vandalism. Some kids have picked at like some parts of the field have started to erode, and so then some kids have picked at the surface and made holes in it. I was able to procure some patchwork for our home plate and our batter's box, but we do not have anything for the field. And so we need a new surface in a big way. And so the DeWitt Township is actually looking at the possibility of funding that through their budget. I have not heard yet what that plan is. We attempted to fundraise ourselves in 2022, and we were told that DeWitt Township needed to do it. It's now 2025, and I'm not sure where we are in that process.
Yeah,
So.
those types of services are very expensive too.
Yeah, well, the first field plus the concession stand cost 250,000.
Yeah,
That was back in 2012. Right
yep,
now, just to resurface the field and to extend it to a full-size baseball field, right now it's not full-sized because at the time we didn't have the funds to make it a full-size baseball field. It was prepped, the outer boundaries were prepped for a full-size baseball field, but the materials that they lay down, that rubberized turf surface is relatively expensive, and so we didn't have the money to fund the whole thing, also to get fencing for the whole thing. So it's looking like, and this was in 2022 when I researched it, the cost was going to be $450,000. So now it's 2025, so we'll see what the price is now. It's going to be way more, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. Those are not cheap. Um, well, yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. That covers most of it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording, and we can stay on here.